Okay, we're jumping straight into a crisis that's blowing up right now in the Persian Gulf. You've got this incredibly dangerous standoff between the United States and Iran, and it's threatening to completely redraw the security map of the entire region. And believe me, this thing is escalating by the hour. And just so we're all on the same page, we're not at the start of this thing. Not even close. We're on day 38. We're deep into an active, ongoing conflict. And you need to know that, because it really sets the stage for just how serious things are getting. And then, this happened. This is the quote that just sent a shockwave around the globe. In a recent interview, the US president didn't just hint at something. No, he laid out a direct, incredibly specific threat against Iran's entire infrastructure. This isn't diplomatic pressure anymore. This is the language of war. So, what does it actually look like when you're on the brink of war? To really get the high stakes here, we first have to break down exactly what the American position is. You see, this wasn't some hypothetical what-if threat. The president actually framed this as a conflict that's already happening, saying he'd let everyone know when it's going to end. And the whole thing hinges on a single demand. Iran has to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, which is basically a superhighway for global oil. The ultimatum couldn't be clearer. This right here, this visualizes the dangerous feedback loop we are stuck in. On one side, you have the US threatening to essentially turn the lights off in Iran. On the other side, Iran says, go ahead, and we will hit back at anything and everything linked to you. Each threat just fuels the next one. It's a classic tit for tat, but the stakes are, well, unimaginably high. Now, Iran's response wasn't just some vague warning. Let's dig into their official and very specific vow to retaliate. So, through its foreign ministry, Iran made its position formal. They will retaliate, their military is ready to go, and, this part is really important, they're framing any action they take not as an attack, but as a reciprocating measure. That choice of words is so deliberate. They're positioning themselves as the ones reacting to threats, not starting a war. And, beyond all the military posturing, the rhetoric has gotten deeply personal. Iran's culture minister didn't just push back on the threat, he went after the president directly, calling him unstable and delusional. When you see that, you know that any chance for normal diplomacy has completely broken down. It's been replaced with pure contempt. But this isn't just a war of words and threats anymore. The conflict is now having very real, very tragic consequences for civilians who are caught right in the middle of it all. And this is where the human cost just comes into sharp focus. An Iranian missile didn't hit some military base. It slammed into a residential building in Hifa in northern Israel. All of a sudden, this isn't a geopolitical chess match anymore. It's about rubble, it's about smoke, and it's about a desperate search for survivors. This is where the abstract becomes terrifyingly real. Just look at the numbers from this one single attack. They tell such a tragic story. You've got at least 9 people wounded by flying shrapnel. Rescue teams are digging through debris, still looking for 3 people who are missing. An elderly man is seriously hurt. Every single one of those numbers is a life just thrown into total chaos by one projectile. As you can imagine, a direct attack like that is sending massive shockwaves across the entire region, and it's forcing neighboring countries to brace for the absolute worst. Over in the United Arab Emirates, the air defense systems are lit up. They're already actively responding to missile and drone threats, and officials are telling citizens to find a safe place right now. And it's pretty much the exact same story next door in Kuwait. The army has confirmed its air defenses are intercepting what they're calling hostile attacks, and they're also pushing out safety instructions to everybody. The big takeaway here, the entire Gulf is now on a war footing. This table sums it all up perfectly. Both the UAE and Kuwait are taking almost identical steps. They're not just sitting back and watching, they are actively shooting targets out of the sky. The crucial point here is that this is no longer just a US-Iran problem. Oh no, this has officially spiraled into a full-blown regional crisis. But beyond the immediate crisis, Iran is hinting at something much, much bigger, something far more permanent. They're starting to talk about a fundamental shift in how power works in the region. This quote from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the really powerful IRGC, is so revealing. Listen to the words. They're not just threatening to temporarily close the strait. They are flat out declaring that the old rules are gone, for good. The former Strait of Hormuz, the way things used to be, it's over. And here it is, This is the core of their new message. The IRGC explicitly warned the US and Israel about a new security order. Now, that term is intentionally vague, but it's also deeply threatening. What it suggests is that Iran believes the balance of power has now permanently shifted in its favor. And that, of course, is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? What does this new security order actually mean? Is it Iranian dominance over the Gulf? Is it new alliances we haven't seen before? Or is it just a permanent state of simmering conflict? The ambiguity, well, that's part of the threat. And so all of this leaves us with one final critical question. This isn't just some regional squabble. The Persian Gulf is a linchpin of the entire global economy. So as these powers clash and new lines are drawn in the sand, we all have to ask, what does this new, uncertain, and incredibly volatile era of security mean for the rest of us?